Hey, this is Laura, and I'm a writer with HealthyPlace's Surviving Mental Health Stigma blog. Unfortunately, there are still many people who don't understand that mental health struggles and mental health issues are not a choice. So for instance, you might encounter people who will say, just be positive when you're struggling with negative thoughts. That's something that I've certainly faced. That's something I even faced recently, which is what inspired this video and the blog that goes with it. And there's one key thing that I do in these situations, and that's to remind myself that people don't always understand that mental health struggles are not a choice. That sounds like a simple sort of solution, I guess. And the reason that that's helpful to me is because it reduces the anger I feel in that moment, or the frustration I feel in that moment towards that person and towards them having said it. And in having that reduced, it helps me see the situation more clearly or approach the situation more clearly. Removing that element of anger or frustration then gives me the opportunity to see that this is potentially a teachable moment for that person. And I say potentially because not everyone is receptive to being educated on these topics, but there is always the the potential for it. And when we go with it in at it with that clearer head, it helps because then you're not just automatically snapping back at them or automatically going into defense or attack mode even to try to correct them on what they've said. Instead, you can sit and think about, how might I approach this conversation with this person? When is the appropriate time to approach this conversation with this person? Is it even going to be a conversation I want to have with that person at all? Because maybe it's just a stranger in passing that you'll never see again, or it's someone that you know is, like I said, not going to be receptive to this information. So that simple reminder is a really helpful tool for me because it takes me out of that initial reaction and I can then think and mull over it. It's also a really helpful reminder because then it reminds me that this is just stigma. Someone saying to just be positive is, again, thinking mental health struggles are a choice, and that's a version of mental health stigma. So I then, remove the feeling of needing to be defensive or being attacked, like feeling of being attacked. So having that simple reminder is helpful for me in that moment. I mean, there are other things that I would think about and do beyond that moment, but it helps with that initial reaction. So it's something I recommend trying if that's something that you faced and you found you're not quite sure how to deal with in the moment. Would love to hear more recommendations, leave some in comments and we can chat about it. But otherwise, thank you so much for listening and I hope you have a great rest of your day.